Welcome to this video. My name is Christian from BM Premiere, and Thunderbolts made me cry. Not because of a death scene, but because it forced me to look at something we all run from: pain. Because the movie villain is exactly that, the pain we don't heal. The movie has so many themes of the ego, the part of us that has only pain. The void is a representation of the voice in our head that say we're not enough. Childhood trauma as seen in the characters, the solution that people along the way help us heal. This is something we see in Bucky trying to do the good thing, but by doing so he helps the other characters heal. We know Bucky went into a journey of transformation as seen in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that is echoed here. The movie's center is focused on Yelena, and I feel that was a good move. We could have known more of Ghost, but this is something that we saw in Ant-Man 2, but her character also experienced pain, but they don't show it how she has been dealing with that pain. So it's not a character that we get to understand more of in this movie. So that's the only thing, because the movie, like David says,
real heart and real, it goes to a place of true darkness.
And I feel we see this throughout the movie, is that darkness that surrounds each character, the pain and trauma, including regrets. So this is shown in three characters: Yelena, Bob, and Valentina. Since we get to see their void, we get to see a little bit about John Walker, but the big part is this three. But let's begin with Yelena. Her pain and trauma was since she was a little girl with the actions of the Red Room, and this caused big trauma and pain on her because she didn't protect others, something we see in Valentina and in Bob. He was not protected, something that we see in Red Guardian as he wants to protect. That's why the movie is a mirror for us to look at our own pain and trauma and those thoughts that feel like a void. Bob was never given a safe space. Even John, we see he didn't protect a safe space for his wife and son, living in the regrets of his actions, and then his wife leaving him, which shows sometimes we lie for others and not to see our flaws like he did. Then we have Valentina. Her pain and trauma came from not protecting her father, which brings this belief that she cannot protect anyone. This moved her to create the Sentry Project, but when she created it using someone that mirrored her own pain and trauma of not being enough, of not being protected, this comes her need for control. Even her collection of the Avengers, including the Avengers Tower, is now the Watchtower. It's because she wants to feel she can protect the world as she was not protected. I mean, her intentions are good in a way, but she used the wrong way. The way she did it was the issue. But this theme of not being enough is something Bob shows. He doubted his hair, he doubted who he is, which is why the meaning of the third arc is so important. He was killed by Valentina Killswitch, her assistant. But the void, the darkness, his ego, which is the void inside of him, that has all those words that he's not enough, that belief that he's not, that it was his fault, like her mother told him since he was a little kid. He was not protected by his parents. His mother accepted the pain of his dad given to him, so brings us to him turning New York into darkness, which is a beautiful metaphor of healing as a society. We know all the pain that surrounds New York, how sometimes it's a place where people go to grow and find experience, but you also see the double face of this. Look around and you will see someone that feel is not enough or is in pain. And yes, it's a metaphor, or cities hold collective wounds and collective pain. So Yelena goes inside the void to help Bob, so she literally has to enter the darkness and find him in his safe place. But this safe place would just not allow him to see the light that we see at the end, the light that flickers outside of the window of his safe place. For him, that location was the one place where he could be protected from the actions of his father. Yelena has to fight her own shadow self, who drinks and is lost, because the movie motif is about helping each other find the light and help each other grow, which is why the ending is so perfect. The void is the ego that tells us that we're not enough, that maybe why me, or why is this, or stay here. As we see with Bob, he's inside this, apartment or house that he feels protected, and around him is in chaos. So when he has to go and fight his ego meaning the void, the Sentry, which is a representation of all the pain he carried, the internal void that he was not good enough. It was about being hugged in his pain. For me, him hugging his own pain could have been better, as in hugging the void, but the Thunderbolt hugging him in this in his own pain is beautiful because it shows how sometimes we heal by being protected by others, by being hugged in our pain, being supported, carried. It's not something we cannot do alone. Healing sometimes is not one-way street. It's a many, and it's a many people who can help. Remember, Bob was not that dangerous because he was powerful. And I really he was dangerous because he was in pain. And at the end, he's not dangerous because when he was hugged, he feels that he can let all of that go, including he start crying. So we need more Marvel movies like this, movies that go and touch on an aspect like this. And I feel people are going to dislike or maybe not understand the film because, to be honest, it's scary to enter the internal void that all of us have. It's part of life. And even doing this video, my internal voice say, why you? Maybe it's not going to get views or it's not going to be a good idea. To be honest, we have to express ourselves. We must push ourselves to talk about topic like this because we have an inner child that's hurt, like we see with Bob, Valentina, and Jelena. They all had a moment in their childhood that they're carrying all this time. It's when they lower the guard, is when they can heal. We don't see it with Valentina, but we see it with Bob and Jelena. Take Bucky, for example. His whole life journey is about pain and trauma and how he has been healing this, as we have seen in past movies and TV shows. It's in Falcon's series when he was able to heal. What's his journey in this movie? To help others achieve the destination that will allow him to heal. Bucky wants to do the good thing. He wants to help. He wants to stop Valentina. And now he's able to bring the Thunderbolts, and how he is able to bring the Thunderbolts to the location that they're able to heal. So Bucky becomes the guide. Now, for Ghost, I feel her pain could have been explored more, and as I said before, but I feel her arc was to stop, and for Red Guardian was really good as well. He was able to push Yelena for her to know that he's there, and that conversation is where he inspires her. It was a beautiful moment between a father and a daughter, and it's what makes her go into the void. And it's why at the end of the movie, she's able to take that breath and let go, because she did let go, that she's able now for good things, which has become the new Avengers. So I feel this movie is to show the pain and trauma that maybe some heroes have, but it's not really explored. And that's what we see in all of these characters. So it's why the Thunderbolts movie is so deep, and again even made me cry, because the movie has reality. It has truth about how human beings live in pain, and how sometimes we don't know how to heal that pain. It's about how many people live in this constant state of pain without anyone embracing them, like we see at the end of the movie. That's why I cried in the movie, because it's not just a movie, it's a mirror of what we don't heal inside, that inner child that has been hurt so many times. It's easier to ignore than to enter the darkness, because the darkness hurts. If it didn't hurt, it will not be that easy not to enter. So that's why it hurts. Entering the void, because remembering the pain, and the pain doesn't want to be remembered. It wants to stay alive like the void. It's difficult to enter that pain, but sometimes it's not when someone comes and hugs you on that, and hugs you, like we see with the Thunderbolts. And I want to say that the pain is where we can heal. If that happens in relationships sometimes, when a man and a woman, when someone enters your life to remember the pain you have, and it's up to you to heal it or repeat the same mistakes, then we want to focus on that love. Is a solution how Yelena was able to connect with Bob. And I understand then why we don't heal with those experiences that hurt, that weight, because in those experiences is where one does not want to see reality. It's better to put them on a box. It's like that scene with Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire at the end, when they discover that it was really the professor, and he's inside the briefcase, all hidden in that case. Sometimes we don't want to open because we don't know what's going to be at the end. Let this video be your hug in the darkness. You're not alone, and neither was Bob. There's a child who wants to heal and wants to be hugged. Honest Christian from Being Premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, one.